Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé Season 11 Episode 6, Love Me or Leave Me. So we're just going to get on into it. The first couple I wanted to talk is Sarper and Shekinah. So last week Sarper arrived to the US and, when he got to Shekinah's apartment, she implemented that he can't cook in the kitchen because she has clients and stuff and everything. In this episode, she's still showing him around the small apartment. He's a little distraught that it's a little small and everything. And, she keeps telling him the do's and the don'ts. He told her he feels like she's dictating everything and can't do nothing already and stuff and everything and stuff, whatever. And I agree. I think she is dictating a little bit. I think that, she needs to loosen up just a tad bit, let Sarper adjust a little bit. So they have that conversation and then they sleep and then the next day they wake up and they decide to go to the beach. And Sarper comes up with the idea. He brings out this swimsuit and says I want to go on the beach and, I kind of want to act like I'm on Baywatch. So Shekinah is just okay, we'll have a Baywatch day on the beach. So they go to the beach. Shekinah starts filming him, Sarper, with his shirt off, is running slowly and everything by the ocean and everything. Them taking romantic pictures and stuff and everything. And I ain't gonna lie, that was cute. That was really cute and everything. So they sat down and had a conversation after that. And they talked about whether what Sarper, because since Sarper can't really work or do nothing during these 90 days, he's just gonna have to try to find something to do. He asked can I come here a lot? And Shekinah was yeah, but I do want you to get used to the neighborhood that we live in, and everything and stuff. And so and then they talked about the trust thing. Now, they brought up Sarper's past, the 2,501 women that he's been with, basically. And basically, that's still in the back of the mind. She kind of said that, that still even though that affected all those women, that's affected me and you to this day. So I want to trust you, but I can't be too trusting, basically, because if you're too trusting, you could take advantage of that and everything. Sarper's just she doesn't fully trust me all the way, then it's gonna damage things and I may have to go back to Turkey. And it's just that simple. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. So that was Sarper and Shekinah. Next couple I want to talk is Sean and Aaliyah. Now, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of them, and they're gonna be I don't usually call couples boring and stuff, but this couple is boring because this episode, Aaliyah arrives to America. Sean picks her up. They have their little airport moment. Sean didn't bring her flowers. He brought that dog instead and everything. Before she arrived, he's cleaning up his apartment because Aaliyah is a big germophobic, which is fine and everything. And they they had their little airport moment, and then they go back to the house, and Sean is showing Aaliyah all the musicians that he collects, like Barbra Streisand and Cher and all them. He's showing Aaliyah all the stuff that's in the house with them and stuff and everything. Then they go to sleep, and then, they unpack and go to sleep. And then the next day they wake up and take the dog for a walk and stuff and everything. And they have the conversation. Aaliyah asks Sean, have you told your family about me coming here? And he's yeah, I told my mom and stuff and everything. And, and another topic they had was about, apparently they're in an open relationship. Because Sean he didn't sign up to be with a girl. He signed up to be with a guy. So he's not getting over the fact that Aaliyah is no longer Douglas and stuff. And frankly, I'm already sick of that storyline. Because, And that's, that's why I didn't. If y'all remember last season when they were on Love in Paradise, I only did 2 episodes because like the 4 couples that were on last season, which was including Sean and Leah, it was just kind of disturbing, a little too disturbing, because as much as I love 90 Day and love covering it on this channel, I had to draw a line with that one because, like, you know, I had, I'm a Christian man, and I have like church folks who watch my channel and stuff and watch my recaps and everything. So like, there's just certain conversations, and like, I could bring it up every once in a while, but throughout the entire season, which how it was with Love in Paradise last season, it was just going to be a little bit too much. So, I'm giving Sean and Leah another chance, but they are boring as heck. And, Sean has not mentioned to his kids that Aaliyah is here and stuff and everything. So, Aaliyah is just like wondering, like, really, like, don't be hiding me and stuff and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know with them. They're just, and let me make this clear. It has nothing to do with her being trans. Like we cover like every season there's a trans couple. There's a trans couple in every season, and I have no issues. There's nothing to do with trans. It's just like something's just off with the relationship. And I don't like how Sean is just, not accepting of Aaliyah, in my opinion. So yeah, that was Sean and Aaliyah. Next couple I want to talk is Stevie and Maddie. So Stevie and Maddie, they go to a coffee shop. It looked like they were at Starbucks, basically. And they're getting coffee and everything. And they have a conversation. Stevie tells Maddie that she had a talk with one of her friends about like what he said when they were in New Orleans about like possibly wanting to go back and everything. And Maddie was saying, you shouldn't have told her that and everything, because I really don't know, basically. And Maddie is just had told Stevie that, at first he was going to say if we're not going to work out, I actually was going to stay in the United States. But now I'm not sure about that. So now Stevie is just like, well, what the heck? Now I'm questioning your motives now. Certain people were thinking, oh, well, Maddie was here for a green card and, here for, just wants to be in America and stuff and everything. And I was defending him and saying, no, he ain't. But when he said that he was going to stay in America without, if they were to break up, I don't know. But, it is, I'm not going to dig too deep into that. So they had a big conversation, and Stevie was furious. She was just like, look, this is the first time I'm questioning them. If you're not serious about this, we cannot be together. Like, if I want to marry you, like I want this to be my happily ever after, my person forever, basically, and everything. She even said that, look, if I would have moved to Iran, if Iran wasn't that bad, like I would have moved to Iran to be with you, despite how bad it is and stuff and everything. And I wouldn't be staying there if we didn't work out, because that just sounds crazy, basically. And she's right. It does sound crazy. So, so she told him, like, I need you to reassure me that you love me and stuff. And he was like, I love you so much. And she was like, well, that doesn't sound reassuring. And it didn't sound reassuring. And he was like, well, I didn't expect you to get all defensive about it. She was like, because I'm mad. Like, he was like, these are all just thoughts. You can't control my thoughts. And she was like, well, stop thinking those things and everything. Now, when she said to stop thinking those things, like, yeah, he's right. Don't be controlling his thoughts and stuff. He has every right to think, like, he's really adjusting to this country and everything, and we all know that, the 90-day producers like to instigate conversations a little bit more and stuff and everything, these type of conversation. So, these are all going to look really bad, like on the surface, but it's not as bad as it sounds, So I'm thinking this conversation dig deep. was more produced by the 90, was more enforced by the 90-day producers to have them talk about and stuff and everything. Because we'll figure that out later in the season. But I mean, I like Stevie and Maddie. I really do, and I do like Maddie. It's just that, like, this was a big risk. Like, he can't, like he's really caught between a rock and a hard place, because yes, he gave up. Like, if he goes back to Iran, he can't come back to America to be with Stevie, but like, he wants to see his family. So, like, he gave up his whole life and family, like, for Stevie. So, like, that's going to be in the back of his head for a long time, maybe even forever, basically. So, like, there's always going to be that back and forth with that and stuff. So I actually understand Maddie more than I do Stevie. So, given this situation, if he was from a different country that wasn't that didn't hate America so bad, like it would be okay. Like, they can go back whenever they want after all their paperwork is finalized and stuff. But with Iran being like a dangerous country towards the U.S., it's not. This is different. So we'll just have to see how that all plays out. So that was Stevie and Maddie. Next couple I want to talk is we'll go to Greg and Joan. Greg and Joan. All right. So Greg and Joan, they decided to go out like on a pier with their dog. Joan's never walked the dog and stuff and everything. And, their storyline is like living, like, basically another culty. Greg living with his mom, jobless and everything and stuff. So Joan in this episode asked him, what are we doing? When are we gonna move out of mom's house and everything, and everything? What are we doing? He was like, oh, maybe like in a year or two. And she was just like, I thought people in America were a little bit more stable. Well, to Joan, I want to say that's one of the biggest misconceptions of Americans, that we're really stable and have money. We don't, Joan. I'm sorry. Sorry. We really don't. So he's trying to talk about his plan and stuff. He talked about like all his finance problems, like, had to pay for the visa, going back and forth to Uganda and stuff, like food in the house, etc. and everything. And he's in debt. He said he's in debt like $8,000 basically. And Joan is just like taken aback from that. So she's like, well, you're really going to have to get a job. Now, Greg claims that he has a couple jobs lined up, but he needs to really get on the boat here with that. So later, Greg and Joan go meet out with Greg's friends, and these guys' names are John. They met up with these two guys, both of them named John. And Joan was like, how many Johns do you know? And Greg was like, I know a lot of Johns, about like 7 or 8 of them. I was like, wow. So they meet Joan, and they start telling them like stupid stories, how back in the day the three of them used to like get in some trouble, like, and everything, like throw like forks at buses or whatever they were talking about and everything, just being goofy as kids and all that stuff. And and then they started really grilling Greg about like, what's your financial plan? Like, do you plan on moving out of your mom's house and everything? Like, you really need to get a job. And Greg was like, yeah, like, I know, but it is what it is right now, basically. And, he was just like, I appreciate their concerns and they're right, but I just don't really want to hear it right now. And I'm like, dude, like, people, like, you got a girl here from another country. You're 35 years old and you live with your mama. And one thing I was kind of surprised about, they said Greg was actually prom king when he was in high school. Now, I mean, that's mean for me to say it's surprised, but that's pretty cool. Now, you would think someone who's received that honor, even at a young age, would like be like that. I know like the people who are prom king and queens at my high school are doing really well in life right now. I mean, life happens, and I get it, but Greg, like, this situation is different than the married at first sight situation with David, because like Greg is jobless, like, and he's denying jobs. Now he's claiming that he wants to like own something, doesn't want to rent to, which is fine. But at least with David, for married at first sight, he has a job. Greg don't. So that's the dilemma with that, basically. So I don't know. I don't know about them. I'm team Joan. I am team Joan in this situation. Now, judging by the previews of next week, it looks like Joan. Now, if you guys remember, in African, and like with African women and stuff, like if you're marrying an African woman, they're like, and stuff, and I think even some places, even in Asia too, there is a dowry you have to pay. And Benjamin and Nakini had that problem. Benjamin had to pay like a dowry before marrying Nakini or whatever, and I guess David had to do one for Annie and stuff. And I think there was another couple that had to do that. So that's going to be brought up about the dowry. I guess like he has to buy like 7 or 8 cow or whatever, and everything, and he ain't gonna be able to afford to. So I can't wait to see how that conversation plays out next week. so yeah. But yeah, that was Greg and Jen. The next couple I want to talk is the throuple, Matt, Amani, and Ani. So what happened last week was Matt and Ani like had sex without Amani, because Amani was tired and didn't feel like it. So them two went on and had sex anyway. And Ani told Amani about it, and she was happy that she told her, but she was more mad at her husband for not telling. So now Amani is feeling really feeling left out, basically. Gee, I wonder why. See, that's what happens when you have a throuple. So they wake up and have a conversation about it, and Amani made a good point. She's like, you got to look at it like that. Me and him are still husband and wife. We've been married for 10 years, and we actually have our own problems, like separate of this. Bringing to the third and adding to that, it's not healthy. No, really, and everything. So Matt is just like trying to please them both and everything. So they go like somewhere for a picnic and everything. And they decided to actually set some ground rules and everything and take notes. Now, I actually like this. Like, Amani was just like, look, we need to set some ground rules in this relationship and everything. And here, I'm going to take notes. So like, I want each of you to say what rules that you want. So Ani said that, we could fight all night, but don't go to sleep angry. Okay, that's good. You don't want to never go to bed angry with your partner. Never do that. That's one. Matt's rule was let me speak. Like if y'all want, like when we're having disagreements and I let y'all speak, y'all gotta let me speak. And Amani's rule is the obvious one. Don't be having sex like behind my back, basically. She's feeling left out and everything. So they came to a consensus about it, but now Amani is still like unsure with things because, the main problem is that Ani hasn't told like her family that she's in a throuple, basically. And she's once again feeling left out. So that conversation needs to happen. So yeah, that was Matt, Amani, Ani. I'm telling you, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, but we shall see. And then the last couple I want to talk is freaking Mark and Mina. So we left off last week with Mina talking to Jordan, Mark's daughter, and Mina uninviting Jordan to the wedding, calling her a snake and stuff. So Jordan has in this episode, Jordan has a conversation with her dad about it. She's like, no, she don't want me to come to the wedding. If she don't want me there, then I don't want to be there now anyway. So Jordan was just like, I really don't want you to have kids. Like, you have this other family and this and that. And then Mark was like, wait, hold on. You need to quit. Like, I'm sorry it didn't work out with your mom. But like, you have to think about my happiness. Yes, I have somebody a little bit younger, but but it's just, you got to follow your heart basically and everything. And she's like, well, I wish this was like a different circumstance. I wish that you were with somebody who was a little bit older and more stable and from the U.S. Now that was ignorant. When she said older and from the U.S., that was ignorant. That's not fair for her to say. So now Mark is pissed at Jordan. Now, and I defended Jordan last week. Like I said, I said last week I saw both sides, but now I'm seeing more of what how Mina's feeling. I don't like Mina's attitude, but I see how now I'm starting to see. So like, Dad was like, oh, hold on, you ain't gonna be like judging me on this. Like, you want me to break up with her? I'm like, well, I guess not, because like, you already have a family, you already have a kid with her. I'm just saying don't have no more kids. Now, what are you saying? She keeps contradicting herself, basically, and everything. So so Jordan and her boyfriend leave and everything, and Mina's crying, the baby's crying and everything, and Mark was just like, let's just get out of the sun. And Mina's just like, I just want to go back to New Hampshire. Mark was just like, well, like, we still got to meet the rest of the family. Like, like, what are you doing and stuff and everything. Like, he just tried one more time. And she's like, I'm tired of trying, basically. I'm really tired of trying. Now, Mark is like, I don't know. Like, this is, like, I don't even think we should get married if my daughter and my fiance can't get along. No, really? But you can't. It's not like you could break up. You're stuck with Mina forever anyway, because you guys already have a kid. And, Mina still needs to bring her other son here, get her other son here and stuff and everything. So, and quit worrying about Jordan and stuff and everything. So, like, they just got a lot of, everybody's priorities are just not in line right now with that particular couple. So, like, I don't know. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, that's the end of my review. We did not see Jessica 1 in this episode. Like I said, like, I like the season so far. I'm not, like I said, Sean and Aaliyah, I just don't know. Like, they don't make me cringe. Mark and Mina make me cringe. But, like, Sean and Aaliyah is just, like, I'm, like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Every season there's that couple that just, I don't know if I will continue to cover. Like, it was enough for me last season on Before the 90 to keep covering Lauren and Faith because how disgusting Lauren was and stuff. But I don't know, but like I'm gonna give them a couple more weeks. But if the storyline doesn't like pick up a little bit with Sean and Lee, I may not cover them. Like, I don't know. Something for me, something just is not right with them and everything. So we'll see how the upcoming weeks come. But everybody else is still good, even Sarper and Shekinah and everything. So, but anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back on tomorrow. I am going to be doing The Last Resort because it's the season finale before the tell-all for The Last Resort. So I'm going to be doing The Last Resort. And I'll be doing the tell-all next week as well. So I'll see y'all again tomorrow. Like I said, Married at First Sight, they'll have the Where Are They Now special. I said I wasn't going to cover it, but I'll watch it. If I cover it, I cover it. If I don't, I don't. I'm not making plans. If it's good, I'll cover it. If it's just whatever, I'm not going to cover it. So, but for sure, I'll be back on tomorrow to do The Last Resort. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, please like and subscribe to my channel. We're growing and growing, and I'll see y'all again soon. Bye, y'all.